Lesson number 13, film financing. You heard the word financing. This is probably the lesson you wanted to start with. You always want to know, how do I get the money? You always do. Oh, you start off with, it's low budget, $1 million to $2 million. How do I get the money? You start thinking about Hollywood, makes those films for $100 million, $200 million. Gosh, all you have to do is say the magic word, low budget. I only need $1 million or $2 million. And somehow you think Warner Bros., Paramount, 20th Century is just going to throw the money at you. Oh my God, he can do it for $1 million, $2 million. I took about 8 lessons to say, grow up. And I took the first lesson to say, let's understand this business of making films. Then I took the next 6 to 7 lessons of showing you how to physically make your first film, how to buy film, how to negotiate with the lab, get your camera package, understanding how to work with guilds and unions. And we went through and made our first film. That is truly a low-budget film, but that's the budget you're going to be at. Then the last 3, 4, 5 lessons, I started showing you, here's what these people do when they sell them. You sort of, they're at Sundance, I want to go to Sundance. Oh, what happens at Cannes or a festival? And now you have a little bit of understanding about that. And now also you have an understanding about putting this puzzle together of all the revenue sources that come into an American movie from around the world. Not just North America, where we have theatrical money, pay-per-view money, pay cable money, basic cable money, television sales money, syndication money, album rights money, t-shirt merchandising, toy money, novelization money, licensing the characters for bananas and cups. I don't know why I said the word bananas money. And then we got foreign market, which has grown and grown and grown to a point where 60 to 70% of the revenue that comes to us in Hollywood is coming from the rest of the world. And it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But Hollywood is still the biggest piece of the puzzle. And now you understand where revenue will come from. So now they understand how to make a movie cost effectively. And now you understand where revenue will come from after it's done if you're successful, where the sales will come from. Now you sort of know the pieces of the puzzle. Now we can start talking about financing a feature film. So this lesson is about financing. I'm going to take you step by step through financing your first feature film. Now, if you want to take one of those exotic seminars at the American Film Market or USC or UCLA or go to Cannes or go to one of the festivals that has a couple of panelists sitting up on the dais in their Hugo Boss jackets who are professionals doing what they're doing but are not professional teachers. And the seminar is going to be about financing new markets, new technologies, new revenues. And remember, these aren't people that are trying, there's such negativity about Hollywood as they're trying to keep secrets. No, we're not. Everybody would be glad to tell you the information, but most people are so wealthy in the industry, they don't have time to learn how to get their act together to communicate it to you first-timers. They would like to. Where I actually, as the teacher, I got my act together over the years to learn to communicate it to you. And it's not they're telling me, don't tell those secrets. So when you go to one of those expensive film financing seminars that they charge anywhere from $200 to $2,000 for the day, and they start talking about new revenues, ancillary markets, gap financing, completion bond, insurance companies in the third position, guaranteeing revenue, co-producing with an above the line, below the line with a window, doing an international co-production with a producer from another nation who has government financing from a film fund or a tax shelter venue. And they're telling you a couple of cute stories. And you write down all the information, and you still don't know how to do it. Well, let me show you step by step how it sort of happens. And It's not exactly this way, and then it deviates a little bit, but here's those big boys, how they do it. First, they get a package together. The word package, a film package. What's in a package? Script, name actors, director with a commitment, a budget, a schedule, and your key crew people. So you guys get your package together. Now you have a package together. What are you going to do with it? Oh, the budget. What's the budget? $10 million? Okay. You got a package together, and it's $10 million. Let's go get financing. The best approach, I think, for you is to start with somebody in the third window. A video DV distributor or a pay cable network that wants to guarantee exclusivity for the third window. So go to them and tell them, here's my package, it's a $10 million feature. Give me the P&A money. If you give me the P&A money, I guarantee that you get the third window exclusively for yourself. So they give you the P&A money, not the money to finance the film, but the print and advertising money to market the film. Now, with this package, with a P&A commitment, now you go to a distributor, North American distributor, and you basically rent a distributor's pipeline. You come to the distributor with the package, with the P&A money. And now it's almost a no-brainer to a distributor. They'll distribute the film. What do they got to lose? You bring in the film, you bring in the P&A money, they'll put it in theaters. But guess what? You still have no money to finance your film. But it's not a film anymore. Now that you have a commitment from a distributor with a P&A budget, it's going to be a movie. There is a distributor. Remember that phrase before? Do you have a distributor attached? And not just do you have a distributor attached, what's the P&A budget? So now you pre-sold the third window for the P&A money to go rent a distributor. Okay. So you got a film that's going to become a movie. It's a $10 million budget and you don't have the $10 million. But you're on your way. So now maybe you go to one of those companies in the fourth window. If the third window goes to the video distributor, now you go to HBO or Showtime or Encore Stars, and you say, okay, I got a film that's going to become a movie. Here's the P&A budget. I'll give you the fourth window for 6 months. Give me 15% of the budget. Fair chance they say we're in. So now you got 15% of the financing. Next, what are you going to do? Okay, maybe you go to somebody in the fifth window or a pay-per-view company. And maybe you get a token, 2, 3, 5% of the financing. They're in on it also because they want a window. Okay, so you got a film with a $10 million budget that's going to become a movie with this big P&A budget, and you got maybe 20% of the financing right now committed. That's still not enough. You're not there, guys. So now, you know what's next? Now, let's get a foreign sale agent to do some pre-sale financing from the foreign market. You got a film that's going to become a movie. It's $10 million. You got a couple of names in it. You've raised 20% of the financing in North America by selling off some of the windows. Now let's get a foreign sale agent that gets a deal from somebody from Italy, Japan, Korea, Ecuador, and they put in maybe 40% of the financing from the 30 nations and 5 territories. Maybe you pre-sell 5 nations and 2 territories to get another 40% committed. A lot of traveling, a lot of legal work going on here, guys. Now, I forget what, I'm guessing you have 60, 75% of your movie financed now. You still can't make it, it's not financed. How many times have you heard a producer say, I've got a movie, it's a $10 million budget and I got 60% firmly committed? Now you see what they're doing, these steps that they're going through. Now, after you pre-sell 4 nations and 2 territories to come up with maybe 40%, now you could get a bank that has an entertainment division. that knows of the 30 nations and 5 territories, you have pre-sold 3 nations and 2 territories, so there's still 27 nations and 3 territories left to get revenue from. A bank, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, will think of that as collateral then. It's a gamble, and banks don't gamble. But banks love gambling a little bit with the film industry because they charge us the highest interest they're allowed. So now you get a bank that puts in what they call gap financing. They call that gap of the 30 nations and 5 territories that you only pre-sold to 3 nations and 2 territories. The remaining 27 nations and 3 territories is the gap of projected revenue that's going to come in when this film becomes a movie 2 to 3 months later. So to them, they think of that a little bit as collateral, and they'll finance maybe 25%. Now maybe you have 75, 80%, 90% of the financing firmly in place, firmly committed. But not one of them has given you a penny yet. And you're not going to get it until you get 100% committed. So now, for the remaining 10, 15, 20, 25%, maybe now we're going to do an international co-production. That we have these 2 actors committed, we have 80% of the financing, but let's shoot the film in Germany, or Canada, or England, and co-produce with a German producer, a Canadian producer, an Italian producer, an English producer, an Australian producer that has the ability to get money from their government. And in the deal, they can keep Japanese rights, German rights, or Korean rights, and the Canadian government or the English government gives them $1 million for that 10 or 15% of the financing, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. But we shoot the film. If we get the funding from a German co-producer who gets the money from a German government agency or a film fund, we must shoot the film in Germany. So to the government of Germany, they give us $2 million to make an American movie, but it stays in Germany. And now Germany gets a more high-profile film being shot in their nation. So they like it. So now you do an international co-production, and guess what? In a little way, if we add this up, we now finance 105%. Oh, zero Mostel and the producers. And we haven't even gone into the tax shelter world yet. This is how the big-name producers do it. This is how those celebrity big people do it. By knowing how to put together the windows, knowing how to pre-sell some nations, knowing how to do international co-productions and get government financing. And this is what they do time and time again. And I'm sure if you take one of those expensive $500 to $2,000 a day seminars, they're going to explain how they do it. And that's really great information. But it's not relevant because not one of you is going to do it for your first film. Because we're going to start off right away. What you forgot is to put together this package. You need a couple of names with pay-or-play commitments. And not one of you in this room can hire an actor for $2 million and write a check for $400,000 to commit his name. So I gave you a great class, and I can keep teaching you this information, and it's useless. Because it's not relevant, because not one of you in this room is worth at least $30 million in net worth. And people that are worth $30 million in net worth will start writing pay-or-play checks. It's not you until you get to your 3rd or 4th successful film. Then there's such decadence in there that you'll be playing this game. That's how the big ones do it that have been around for a while. Now let's get into reality, which this school is all about. How are you, who have little to no money, most of you that couldn't afford to buy this video, that are looking at it from somebody else that's showing it to you, going to finance your first film? And did you, sitting in this room, pay retail to be here also? How are you going to finance your first film? That's what's relevant, isn't it? I'm not trying to be rude, guys. I'm not trying to be arrogant or condescending. I'm coming with my heart. I've been out there in naivety 15 to 20 years ago, and it didn't happen. And I initially got mad, but then I realized I was the child. I was naive. And I expected the film industry to treat me like they're my parents. And I'm supposed to go to them and say, believe in me. Give me 500,000, give me 2 million, 5 million, because you believe in me, and I got a title. How childish that is. So now, let me show you how to finance your first film. You want to call it independent financing. This is basically studio deal making. You want to call it independent financing. Let me show you how to finance your first feature film. And you know how to finance your first feature film, what it is? How do you get a sugar daddy to write a check? Did you hear that phrase? Sugar daddy. You know that guy or gal that's been talking to you these last year, 2, 3 years that would really like to help you, but hasn't given you a penny yet? When are you going to ask for the money? So now I'm going to have to teach you to be a salesman. And if you're a producer, the biggest quality of producers, besides reading a lot of scripts, is salesmanship. The rules in salesmanship, there are 3 rules. I'll get to them in a little bit. But what you want to do is, how do you get, remember the budget of your first film? It's not this $1 million, $2 million, and when I started up there, $10 million, which seemed pretty interesting, didn't it? You were getting excited about that one. But then I had to yell at you 10 minutes and say, grow up again. Stop getting excited about this Hollywood smokescreen. Let's get back to reality, financing your first film, not your 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th film. What's your budget of your first film? And stop telling me $1 million or $2 million. Your first film, you know what the budget is, $5,000, $27,000, $45,000, $60,000, $120,000, $150,000, $250,000, up to $300,000. So how do you finance that? What I'm going to teach you now is how to do your proper legal work, set up your limited partnership or limited liability company, put together your paperwork for your offering memorandum, create units and sell units, put on a party or a social function like they do for the ballet, symphony, or opera, and then ask for the check. And you're asking people for checks for $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, or $20,000. And these are wealthy people that give checks of $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 to the ballet, symphony, and opera every year. And what do they get for that? A chair with their name on it? And they go to the opera? Will you please talk to me about the opera? I don't like it. It's a bunch of people screaming all the time. I don't understand the opera at all. So now let me teach you how to finance your first film. Do your proper legal work to solicit investors, those people and those friends that you've been associating with, but now you're going to ask for a realistic check. And if it doesn't make any money, it didn't hurt their lifestyle at all. And you're only asking for checks of $2,000, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. Hi, you guys. You want to go shoot a no-budget digital feature? You're artists. You're artists that deliver, you think business. So what if you want to raise $60,000 for a 3-camera digital shoot? And you set up your limited partnership and you sold 20 units for $3,000 each. Do you know somebody you can ask, give me a check for $3,000? I bet you feel comfortable. You can get it. You pick up the phone book, go to the letter D. Dentist, hello, Dr. Abramson? Or you'll go, Dr. Awamata? Hello? And you'll close. This is what you're all going to do. Once you get into a realistic number, and you got to keep pulling yourself out of these fantasy numbers that you read about Hollywood. So let's go right now. Let me show you how to raise anywhere from $200,000 to $400,000 for your first feature film by taking through your steps and basically being a salesman. And actually, I'm going to make it appear so simple that somebody in the class is going to probably ask me, what happens if they give you too much money? Then I'll have to tell the person next to you, slap his face. You'll figure it out. So let's start, and and let's raise money for your first feature film. Step number one, get the script. Step number one, get the script. It better be great, guys. Get the script, make it great. It better be great. I'm going to teach you how to get the money. You're going to get the money. You're going to work for a bunch of months. You're going to spend 18 months on this thing. And it's going to be done. It's going to have dissolves. It'll have fades. It'll have titles. It'll have prop. It'll have actors. It'll have wardrobe. It'll have music. And you know what? If the script wasn't great, it's boring after a minute. Why'd you do it? The biggest problem with first-time filmmakers who never become a second-time filmmaker is they fell in love with the first typing that came their way, especially if it's typed from a computer program and it looks like a script. Don't do it. I've already told you, you better start reading. Development executives read 2,000 scripts a year. Do you think they might know the great script when they read it after all that reading? One that just jumps out? Now, what are you going to compare it to? How many scripts have you read in the last 4 years? 3? Come on, guys. Step one, get the script. You're going to get the money, but if the script ain't great, why'd you do it? It's a waste of a year and a half. Nothing's a waste, but it wasn't a good cost-effective use of your time. Step one, get the script, make it great. To get the money, step two, do your proper legal work to solicit investors. Do your proper legal work, step two, to solicit investors. I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm not an accountant. I'm not giving you accounting advice. I'm just giving you a surface of sort of what I've seen everybody do, these basic steps on their legal work. The first thing you should do in your legal work is get a business license as a production company. Go down to your local city hall, wherever you live. It's $20 to $150. You get a business license. The only question they'll ask you when you fill in the form and you give them a check is, are you a sole proprietorship, A? B, are you a partnership? Or C, are you incorporated? Now, what are you going to be? If you're just by yourself, you're probably a sole proprietorship, and you'll check that one off. If you're with 1, 2, 3, 4 other people, it'll be a partnership. They won't ask to see your partnership agreement. They don't care, City Hall. They just want to know everybody's name, social security number, and write the check. Now, separately, you would write up your partnership agreement with the people that's on the side. Now, what about incorporating? Do you want to incorporate? You not necessarily want to and have to, but I sort of recommend to do it. The reason you incorporate is to create a shield that protects your assets. So in case something goes wrong during the shoot or in suing or litigation, you can only lose the assets that are in that corporation. You can't lose your personal assets. So I pretty much advise to incorporate in whatever state you live in that you're forming this production company. But to most of you, in a weird way, I don't advise incorporating. Because what are you protecting? What do you own? 82 CDs? 4 pair of sneakers and maybe 1 pair of Manila Blahnik shoes? What are you protecting? Why'd you incorporate? You got no assets. But usually if you have at least $1 million net worth, we sort of say numbers like $150,000, $250,000 in your house equity, etc. Ballpark million. Why not? The bottom line is, do you know, incorporating is very inexpensive. It's not such an amazing thing. Here we're in California. You call the Sacramento, call the Capitol. I think filing fees is like $300, $350. And they'll talk you through. The Capitol wants the money. You want to get an attorney to help you? There's an organization that's all around North America called Volunteer Lawyers for the Arts. They'll be glad to assist you and help you. Token payment to them. You want to hire an attorney? You don't need an entertainment attorney for this. If they charge you more than $1,000, they're a ripoff. And you'll incorporate. Step one, get your script, make it great. Step two, do your proper legal work to solicit investors. We are now in step 2. What's your proper legal work? A, get a business license. Now, what form are you getting the business license under? You'll probably be an incorporation, but you don't have to be. B. C. Now form what's called your limited partnership, sometimes called an LP. And a couple of years ago, they started doing a new variation of this that's called an LLC, Limited Liability Company. Limited partnership, limited liability company, they're pretty close to identical. In which this says, you, this company, are the general partner, which is the film production company. You're the general partner. And the investors, if you ever get them, are limited partners. They're only limited to lose the amount of money they put in. They can't lose anymore. If there's litigation, lawsuits, or whatever, I can only lose that amount of money. So step 1 to get the money, get the script, script. Don't fall in love with typing. It better be great. Get the script, make it great. Step 2, do your proper legal work to solicit investors. What's your proper legal work? Get your business license, A. B, possibly incorporate. C, get your limited partnership papers or your limited liability company papers together, which is that attorney you went to say, help me to incorporate. So now if this attorney charges you more than $2,000 to do the whole thing, he or she's a ripoff. And it's the same thing when they go to their computer of putting together a limited partnership of 10 dentists that invest in a McDonald's franchise or a P.F. Chang franchise. They'll take the word restaurant out of there, put the word movie company in there. They'll take the title of the food out of there, and they'll put the title of your film in there. And it's the same exact paperwork. You do not need entertainment attorneys for this at all. Raising money, step 1, get the script, make it great. Step 2, do your proper legal work to solicit investors. What's your proper legal work? A, get your business license. B, not necessarily, but probably incorporate in the state that you are in. C, form your limited partnership, or now being called a limited liability company. D, in the limited partnership, quote, papers, or the limited liability company papers, there's going to be a paragraph or a page that's called an offering memorandum. An offering memorandum. Now, what's your offering memorandum? An offering memorandum states, what are you offering? You're offering people to invest in a company that's trying to make a film to make a profit. You are trying to raise $300,000. And to raise $300,000, you are offering, if somebody gives you $300,000, you're offering to them, they'll get 50% of profits, if you want to call that the 50-50 deal. So investor or investors, in the offering memorandum, I need $300,000. If you give me $300,000, I'll make the film. While I'm making the film, I'll take a small salary of $5,000, $10,000, $12,000 to pay my, limited expenses of living during the 4 months. And when the film is done, we'll try to sell it. And if we sell it, we get profits, and we'll split 50-50, 50-50. That's what you're offering. But in the offering memorandum, there's going to be a new phrase. The key word in there is the word units. U-N-I-T-S. What are the units you're selling? So you're trying to raise $300,000. If you go to an attorney and he writes up, structures your offering memorandum so that you are out there trying to sell 1 unit, which equals 50% of profits, and the person that gives you has to give you $300,000, he did all the right paperwork. It's all legally correct, but you're going to self-destruct. Because what you're doing right now is putting yourself out there in a position to ask somebody to write a check for $300,000. And you're not going to do that. I don't care if you do all the proper legal work, you're not going to get the money. Hi, have you ever asked somebody for a check for $300,000, give it to me? No. So you're not going to be comfortable doing that. I don't care how great the script is. I don't care how much homework you did. I don't care how much location scouting you did. I don't care how much you know how to buy film. Eventually it comes down to being a human being and being comfortable putting yourself in front of somebody and saying, give me a check for $300,000. Why? Because you like me. That's eventually what it's going to come down to. And he already knows that, damn, $300,000, that's tough. So what you got to do when you structure your offering memorandum, you should find out your comfort zone. Where are you comfortable with? Asking somebody, give me a check. Could you ask somebody for a check for $50,000? If you got the script and you really love the script, could you say, give me a check for $50,000? You sure? You thought, $20,000. Piece of cake? Okay. I'm being a good attorney for you. That's his comfort zone. So if I was the attorney, then I would set up an offering memorandum to give away 50% of profits, if there are profits, by selling 15 units at $20,000 each. And each unit represents a little bit more than 3% of profits. Now, an individual can say, I'll take 2 units, 5 units, or I'll take the whole thing. So if you're comfortable, you can ask the person for $300,000, but the salesman line is always, let me put you down for 1 unit. Joe, let me put you down for at least a unit. That's how the salesmen do it. And you set up your offering memorandum properly so you can say that phrase. Step 1, get the script, make it great. Step 2, do your proper legal work to solicit investors. What's your proper legal work? Get your business license. B, possibly incorporate. C, set up your limited partnership or limited liability company, but in there, put in your offering memorandum, and in the paragraph or the page that says offering memorandum, clearly state how many units you're selling to get that money, what each unit costs, and what each unit represents in profits, if there ever are profits. And remember, when we raise money for the ballet, symphony, or opera from these people, we don't even talk the word profits. So this is like bonus time. Now, you've done all your proper legal work, you got your script, you got your budget. You're ready now. Not until then are you ready. Now, no, you're not ready. You're not ready to go get an investor now. So step 3. Who's your cinematographer going to be? Who's your DP? Who's your director of photography? Who's really going to shoot the film? One of the salesman lines is sell the sizzle. Think you got any sizzle? Any of you out there have any sizzle? I got it. I don't know if you got it. You glamorous? Can you talk big numbers and get the money? So you know what you're going to do before you go out there to talk to an investor? You're going to find your cinematographer or DP or DOP or director of photography, whatever you want to call him or her. And they've shot a lot of film, haven't they? A real cinematographer. And they all have demo reels. They're mostly in tape, but the real ones have demo reels that are 35 millimeter. And cinematographers don't think of the world of pay-or-play commitments. They're not in that arena. They don't think about that. And they'd say, yeah, I'd love to shoot your feature film. You get the money? Yeah, you want to use my demo reel to get a couple investors? Go do it. So the sizzle you're going to get is that cinematographer's demo reel. You guys keep thinking about making shorts to prove to somebody that you can make a film. You're going backwards. There are so many cinematographers out there that have demo reels that look 10 times better than any rotten short you're thinking of making. You're going backwards, you dummies. Do not make a short. I'm the only film teacher in the world that says that. You'll make your own decision. I am not right, but that's my opinion. Step 1, get the script. Make it great. Step 2, do all your proper legal work to properly talk to people. Step 3, now, no partner, find out who's your cinematographer and get use of his or her demo reel. Now you're ready to talk to some sugar daddies. I got you. Now let's get into the salesman lines. You're about to be a salesman now. Here are the rules of salesmanship. Rule number 1, he who says the first number loses. He who says the first number loses. Go to any car dealership. The greatest salesmen in the world are car salesmen. I don't like them because they have a code of ethics that lying is okay on their property, but car salesmen are great. Go in and just ask one of them, what's the price of that car? Give me the best price. You know what they're going to say? What can you afford? Give me something to work with. What's your weekly take home? What's your monthly mortgage? They'll reel you in. Once you say a number, they'll reel you in. They'll reel you in. Salesman line number 1, he who says the first number loses. Salesman line number 2, bring them to the track. Write it down. Bring them to the track. Another way we say that line is when raising money, never go to money. That sounds weird. When raising money, never go to money. It's exactly what that is. When raising money, don't drive to their house. Don't drive to their office. If you can't get them to come to your house or your office to take this meeting, you ain't getting a penny. You can't even get them to invest 30 minutes to an hour in time of you. So when raising money, never go to money, which means don't go to their ivory towers. I'm sure their house is gorgeous. I'm sure their offices are amazing with wonderful views. You don't walk in there. You bring them to you. Bring them to the track. Where the salesman line came from was about 1960. A guy in New York used to sell doctors and dentists tax shelters to invest in racehorses. Do you think he sent the doctors and dentists a photo of a pony? He met him at Belmont or Aqueduct. He brought him to the track, and at the track he did the presentation. And at the track it's exciting, sell the sizzle. Let's get back to you. What track do you have? You know what I found out from the School of Hard Knocks, why investors invest in movies? To be in movie theaters. They want their physical body in movie theaters. So what you're going to do, step 1, get the script, make it great. Step 2, do your proper legal work to solicit investors. Step 3, get access to your cinematographer's demo reel. And next, book a theater. Any theater. Pick the nicest theater in your city. Pick the Chinese Man Theater. Pick the nicest old Art Deco theater you can imagine in your city that hasn't been broken up into a little multiplex and doesn't smell of urine. They're all for rent. When are you going to rent it? They start projecting at 12 o'clock. So ask the theater manager if Thursday morning at 11:30 the projectionist can come in 15 minutes early so you can project a cinematographer's demo reel to try and get some money from an investor. Theater managers love it when they're actually treated like they're part of the movie industry. And they're actually not there to pick up your goobers and jujubes and whatever else you leave underneath your seat when you leave. They never say no. They'll invariably say, let me check with the projectionist to see if he'll come in early. You know how you make sure the projectionist comes in early? You go in your back pocket and you pull out a $100 bill. You know how you make sure the theater manager really likes you to go in? You go in your back pocket and pull out another. Oops, can you pick up that? Can you please, thank you. I almost had an angina, guys. I'm sorry. That was right there. That was right there. It wasn't a heart attack, but it was an angina. Book a theater. Sell the sizzle. Now you're ready to raise some money. So now Monday. Do you know any investors? If you don't know any, it's just cold calling, guys. Pick up the phone, go to the yellow pages, go to letter D, dentist. Hello, Dr. Abramson. I was wondering if you're interested in investing in the arts. Will you please tell me how many dentists in Cleveland, Ohio had the opportunity of that phone call? I love that word, opportunity. What a salesman line, that word, opportunity. It's such a killer. By the way, of 10 dentists you call, 8 to 9 of them will hang up before you finish the sentence. Takes one. Takes one. You'll get one. So you get one, and you'll say, okay, I'll messenger over the script, the budget, and all the legal work. You don't see them. You haven't seen them yet. It's cold calling. And you messenger over the script, the budget, and all the proper legal work. It's legal. This looks slick. And maybe some headshots of actors. You want to put some storyboards in to make it dazzle them? Send that over to them. Tell them, I'll call you back in 2 days. If you like the project, I'll set up a screening for you. When I call you back, if your secretary says you're in a meeting, I'll never call you again because I know you don't want it, and I'll move on with life. So 2 days later, you call up the dentist. If he doesn't pick up the phone, move on. Don't call again. But if he or she picks up the phone, you got a mark. Now you're ready to close. It's Wednesday. It's 2 in the afternoon. This dentist just took his hand out of somebody's mouth to pick up the phone. And you set up a screening time at the Art Deco Theater tomorrow at 11:30. So tomorrow at 11:30, the dentist takes his hand again out of somebody else's mouth. At 10:30, goes down, gets in his car, it's usually a Lexus, drives to the theater, parks the car. Where are you? You're inside with your cinematographer. You're way inside in the auditorium. The dentist, doctor, wealthy person will invariably come to the ticket booth and stand there. It's 11:45 in the morning. Nobody's in the ticket booth. This ticket booth has power. I don't know why. People are scared to walk behind it without giving money. You need permission. You got to pay money to walk behind it. Nobody's in it. The doctor dentist is actually going to stand out here for 3, 4, 5 minutes. You don't talk to him. Don't come out. He'll figure it out. And in a couple minutes, he goes, maybe I should go in. Now he goes in. The theaters are open. It's in a way he feels he broke into Fort Knox. He's in the lobby of this theater by himself. He looks around. They always have their mouth open. He looks at the candy counter. Gee, I could steal that crap. Wow. You're still not there. Give him 2 minutes in the lobby. Remember, sell the sizzle? Now come out of the auditorium with your cinematographer. It's the first time you see his or her face. You walk up to him, Dr. Abramson, I'm Dov Simmons, I'm the producer of this project. Gee, I'd really thank you for coming. I'd like to introduce you to my cinematographer. Here's my cinematographer. I know that time's really important to you, so let's go into the theater and I'll set up a screening. Just before you go into the theater, the projectionist is going to probably ask you a question that's going to be so exciting you won't know how to answer it. The projectionist is going to ask you, when you bring the guy in, do you want me to have the curtains closed and then I'll open them when you cue me? Or do you want them already open? I don't know. This is getting exciting though, isn't it, guys? Sell the sizzle. So the guy walks in, you sit down in the middle of the theater, nobody else is in. Imagine being in the middle of the Chinese Man Theater. 3 of you. I think this is pretty exciting, guys. And now you schmooze them a little bit. You don't lie, you don't mislead, you let them know you haven't shot any of this. My cinematographer has. That's why I'm working with this fellow. And most of our crew are coming from all those shoots. And then you cue the projectionist to put up the demo reel. You screen the demo reel. It's going to look 20 times better than any short you're thinking of making. And as soon as the demo reel is over, you turn to the investor and close. Close. Now, the third salesman line in financing and getting money is ask the closing statement and shut up. The third salesman line, or the third rule, is ask the closing statement, create silence, and shut up. And once you ask for money, don't move your lips again. Ask the closing statement and shut up. Watch this. I can actually raise money because I'll actually ask for it. Did you hear that word? Ask for it. See, here's what you guys have been trying to do. You've been trying to get enough information and accumulate enough knowledge and read enough books and read enough trades and think that all of a sudden you've got so much that someday somebody's going to tap you on the shoulder and go, I believe in you, I believe in you. How much money can I give you? That's childish. That's never going to happen. You know that's not going to happen. Now, it's important to get the information and the knowledge, but you got to become a salesman. And you got to put yourself in front of somebody and ask the closing statement. Hi. How much may I put you down for?
500,000.
Wait. Did you hear me ask the closing statement and shut up? It only takes 7 seconds of silence. You are not going to get the money if you don't physically ask the specific question. How many units may I put you down for?
20.
It's never going to be that easy, but that's what you've got to do. You're still tap dancing around and hoping that someday somebody believes in you and says, how much do you need? Oh, fairy tale, fairy tale. You're presenting yourself properly. Do your proper, get the script, make it great, do your proper legal work, figure out how many units you're comfortable with the selling, that you can physically be this salesman, and in a way feel that if they don't say yes, you're mad. Why have you been wasting my time? By the way, you'll never raise your voice like that to an investor, but I'm sure a lot of you out there have this person that for the last year or 3 years, yeah, I'd love to help you. And I'm sure that person's massively wealthy. So when are you going to just say, write the check? But instead of saying, write the check, do your proper legal work and say, how many units may I put you down for? Please sign. Are you scared? You might get the money. It might actually happen that way. That's how it happens. Now, let me show you how to make it even easier. So step 1, get the script, make it great. Step 2, do your proper legal work to solicit investors. Step 3, get access to your cinematographer and his or her demo reel. Step 4, sell the sizzle and do the closing statement. Book the theater, screen the demo reel, but here's really how to dazzle them. Bring in now 5 actors into the room. And have the 5 actors do a 2-minute scene and hand the dentist aside. Let them read the 2. It just dazzles them. They get so... Remember, they're a dentist. It's an endodontist. What do you think their life is like? And now you bring in 4, 5, 7 actors to do a couple of scenes. You'll be amazed how stupid wealthy people get when they're standing 5 feet away from an actor who's acting. Where that same actor who is really a waiter, the doctor was rude to them 3 hours ago at lunch. But now when they're in the persona that I'm an actor, it's like, I just want to talk to you afterwards, or do you know that thing that's the method thing, or how'd you get into the union, or do you do the Stanishevsky thing, or it's Stella Herbsberg, or whatever it is. They just want to talk to you. When you bring in the live bodies, then you bring in the live bodies. Now, the questions you're about to ask me is, do you do it one at a time, or is it best to bring in a group of investors? It's always best to bring in a group of investors. But when bringing in a group of investors, it's difficult because wealthy people have very little time availabilities. So there's only one way to bring in a group of investors: create a social function, like they do for the opera, the ballet, the symphony. So you'll send out proper invitations, which aren't business financing solicitation offerings, but they know what it is. You send out the proper invitations, you book the theater, you put a little buffet out there, you set up your demo reel, you do a proper presentation of yourself and manufacturing and doing it cost effectively. We intend to make this film without a distributor because we believe we'll get a much better distribution deal by first attending the festival circuit. Here are some festivals we intend to attend, but no guarantee we attend them. I wouldn't say that. And we intend to get revenue from the theatrical market, the foreign market, the video market, the cable market, yada, 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 yada. Oh, you sound so smart. And then you've got 10, 15, 30 dentists, doctors, wealthy people there. And then what you do is you bring in the actors to do a couple of readings. And then right after that, you pass out the offering memorandum again, which is the contract. And you ask them to please, before you leave, please fill in the offering memorandum with how many units you would each like to be put down for. And on the way out at either of the doors, my assistants are there to take your offering memorandums. If some of you, since it's only small units that we're offering, if some of you would like to write the checks right now, that'll make it and expedite things, but thank you very much. And then they fill in the offering memorandums for how many units. And social peer pressure has them filling in numbers usually. And that's how you finance your film. Yeah.
Could you explain again about the units?
About the what?
The units. Like that represents.
She asked me to explain about the units. When you set up your offering memorandum, let's say you want to finance and you want $400,000. If you're just saying, and you're offering 50% of profits, so if you're going to go to somebody and say, give me a check for $400,000, it's basically you're selling one unit. It costs $400,000 to buy one unit, and if you give me $400,000, you'll get 50% of profits. But maybe you're not comfortable asking somebody for a check for $400,000. So maybe you're comfortable asking somebody for a check for $100,000. Then you'll sell 4 units at $100,000 each, and each unit represents 12.5% of profits. Or what if you're not comfortable with selling 4 units? You want to sell 20 units at $20,000 each, and now each unit represents 2.5% of profits. And now maybe that's a comfort zone because you're in front of somebody who says they're wealthy, and you go, come on, you can afford it. Let me put you down for 2. And that's your closing, that's your closing. But you got to find your unit comfort zone where you're at, selling those units. Yes, 5 minutes? Okay, now by the way, I got you financing your film without even telling them what they can make. Take a moment to think about that. I got you so excited and starting to feel like people will give you money, and you haven't said anything about business to them. And you're just selling the sizzle. How much money do people make when they give money to the ballet, symphony, opera? This is how you raise the money. But now here's what you'll offer investors. Let's get into money. The offering to the investors is going to be, investors, invest in me, you get 50% of profits. Invest in me, you get 50% of profits. So if it's $400,000 to make the film, we make the film, I put it to festivals, we get a distributor, and 12 months later it makes $2 million in profits. How are we going to split it? You get $1 million, I get $1 million. That's not fair. So A, investors, invest in me, I'll give you 50% of profits, and B, I'll put you in first position. So you first recoup your investment out of profits, then we'll split 50-50. So investors, give me $400,000 to make the film. It's not giving me, you're partnering with me. We make the film, we get a distributor, and there are profits, and there are $2 million in profits. First you get your $400,000 back. Then what's left is $1.6 million, we'll split that. $800,000 for you, $800,000 for me. And if I did points at deferral with cast and crew, it comes out of my profit participation, the production company, not the investor's pool. Investors, invest in me, I'll give you 50% of profits, and I'll put you in first position. And I can guarantee your recoupment out of profits. We love saying that word guarantee. I didn't guarantee there are profits, but I can guarantee you recoup your investment out of profits if there are profits. So the word guarantee snuck in there, but I can't guarantee profits. Investors, invest in me. I'll give you 50% of profits, and I'll put you in first position. And this $400,000 that you're giving me, where are you taking it from? Your mattress? No, you're going to cash in a bond, an annuity, a mutual fund, a CD. What does that get in interest today? 6% interest? So you're going to lose that interest while you're giving me the money to make the film. I don't think that's right. So tell you what, I'll give you interest. You know what interest I'm going to give you on your investment in me? 25% interest. Investors, invest in me. I'll give you 50% of profits. I'll put you in first position. I'll give you 25% interest on your money. So if you give me $400,000 to make the film, I make the film. I take out a nickel-dime salary while I'm making the film. I work real hard. We get the film out there, get it to the festival, get a distributor, and 18 months later there are profits of $2 million. How are we going to split this? First you get your $400,000 back. First position. Then you get 25% interest on your $400,000. Here's another $100,000 back. What's left now is $1.5 million. We're going to split that, $750,000 for you, $750,000 for me and my production company or whatever pool I have with cast and crew if I did deferrals there. That's a fair deal, guys. That's a fair deal for anybody. Invest in me in this business venture, whatever it is. and if it makes profits, which I can't guarantee, you'll get 50% of profits, first position, and 25% interest. Yes, sir.
Would it also be possible to,
Louder, please.
would it also be possible to sell them on the fact that if the movie lost money or they didn't make
Now,
anything?
nobody wants to hear the words write-off. Where you're getting to is you can write it off. No wealthy person wants to hear that. I'm relatively wealthy. I don't want to hear from anybody that I can write it off. I don't want to write anything off. I want more cash flow. No investor, the tax shelter industry in America ended in 1976 and 1978. That was when I would give you $100,000 and you would give me $700,000 in write-offs. And then I can actually save money by not paying Uncle Sam. That world doesn't exist anymore. Put the word write-offs out there. Every investor knows they can write it off, but they don't want to hear that. They don't want to know that. That means I lost. And I'm at a higher tax bracket, but so what? I can write it off. I don't want to write it off. I want to pay more taxes. I love paying more taxes. Means I made more money. Anything else, or you know how to finance a film now? Yes, ma'am.
What do you say to people when they ask you what the probability that it will be successful is?
Very doubtful. Very doubtful. But then I'll sell the sizzle. I'll talk about the Blair Witch Project. Look what it grossed. I'll talk about Big Fat Greek Wedding. Look what it grossed. I'm being a salesman now. I said the word gross. I switched it on you. You said the word profit. And I was truthful. I said very doubtful. It's an art form. But we believe we got all our ducks in a row. We believe we're manufacturing cost effectively. And we really believe in that. And by the way, what do you get when you invest in the opera, the ballet, the symphony? Which, by the way, I wouldn't be confrontational with the investor, and that's a fair question. And without raising my voice, I talk nicely. But I'd sort of switch it from they said the word profit and being the salesman. I'd say, look at what Blair Witch did. Look at what Barbershop did. Look at what My Big Fat Greek Wedding did. Without saying any numbers, I turned it. Next question. And then I move on. And by the way, I feel very comfortable that, you know what dentists charge us? Take their money from them. I have no worry about it. We're not, at no time did I say go to a little old lady or that they say, or somebody that can't afford to lose every penny. These are wealthy, financially secure people. You're only asking for checks of $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. It's not going to alter their lifestyle whatsoever, and they're actually going to have fun that they played with the film. And then to the rest of their cronies, they'll tell everybody, hey, I invested in a film once. I'll probably never do it again. But yeah, I did that. I know how Hollywood works. And they had fun. They got it out of their system. Be a little bit of a salesman, but don't mislead. Don't misrepresent. It's a crapshoot. Your real question you asked me, what is the possibility? It's doubtful. I was honest. It is doubtful. But I believe we have a chance. And I believe we're cost effective, and I understand how to go to the different windows. And that's it. We're about to get into the next segment. You now understand financing your first feature film if you get mature and realistic at the proper numbers. And you get out of your head this naivety that you're going to start by making $1 million, $2 million, or $3 million feature. If you're trying to do a digital feature and you need $60,000 and you do your proper legal work, you're a nice boy, you go downtown, you spend $150, you get your business license, you actually incorporate with another $300, $500, and then you go to a bunch of your relatives and their friends and you ask for selling units, 30 units at $2,000 each. Think they'd give it to you?
Yeah.
Go do it. You're a good boy. You deserve to get it then, when you do your proper business work. Not when you expect parents to just throw it at you. Then you do it. Get the script and make it great. And you're young. If I finance anybody, I would finance you. Because who goes to movies more than anybody else? Kids. And that's who I'm going to finance. So you come up with a script that takes place with 5 of your friends in one room. And any adult that comes into the movie as an actor is a jerk. And the kids will love it. Can you do it?
I think so.
And don't hire a 40-year-old writer. Because we'll put in the words bitchin', rad, cool, and daddy-o. We don't know how not to do it. Anyway, you understand how to finance your first feature film, and you're getting mature and realistic to start your career. And remember, the situation is, what is the possibility of profits on this? Very little. First, make a film, then you'll make a deal. If you can get your film made and to a festival where now it picks up a distributor. You are now within a week making a deal on your second film. Never mind profits on your first film. You're making a deal on that second film that you came into this class with, that you wanted to finance this script. And I gave you the route of how to do it. First, make a film, then you'll make the deal on financing this one. First do that, then there. You'll make more money from salaries and revenues on your second film than you ever see profits on the first film. And then, if that one works, then you go up, now you're at 2 to 3 million, calling it a 7 to 10 million, and you're getting a salary of 300,000, 500,000 right off the top. And you're keeping foreign rights. Wow. And if that one gets out there, decadence. And then the fourth film, you're so wealthy from the third film, from the foreign sales, that you kept 5 to 15 million. You can do some pay-or-play commitments. And now you got name actors that really want to work with you because you've demonstrated the golden touch. You seem to have it. Now everybody's flocking to you. First make a film, then you'll make a deal, finance your first film, but grow up. Start at the bottom. You're not going to start in the middle, and you're not starting at the top. The next segment, next lesson coming up is distribution. Distribution. God bless. Happy filmmaking.